Hey, it's Bex with Hidden Currents Divination, and I am here to do the reading for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements. Happy Aries full moon! Full moon in your sign. How are you guys feeling? I have several Aries placements, and I'm feeling pretty good. It feels nice. I mean, the way it's going to hit your individual chart, of course, is important, so everybody's going to experience it differently. I don't think it exacts until tomorrow. I'm not sure. Maybe tonight. I don't always know exactly. Full moon. So we're going to do the Aries reading. What do you guys got going on? Hello, Aries. Rams. Homies. Okay, let's do it. Let's see what we got. Nope. Too many. Too many. One at a time, please. Keep it simple for me. Keep it simple. I feel like that's kind of an Aries notion, isn't it? We don't like things too complicated. I think that's kind of what can drive us to be sort of assertive, aggressive, a little blunt, because it's just simpler that way, right? We don't like needless complexity. Like, we like a challenge, you know? But we don't like things to be too complicated, because then it's just like, oh, this is boring now. Like, this is, okay, I've lost interest, you know what I mean? Which Aries do very easily, very quickly. All right. Past energy, 8 of Cups. Walking away from something that once made you really happy. Or somebody walking away from you. It's like when you leave something that was really good, but you know that there's better, or more satisfying, or different, or it's not an easy thing to do or go through. That could be leaving behind familiar ways of doing things, familiar patterns. Ooh, the Magician. Yes, love it. Making the wife the wife. That was a very Freudian slip. Making the life you want through sheer force of will, through intention and creativity, right? Like the Magician just takes raw materials and creates stuff, makes magic, builds worlds. Love it. It's a very confident card. It's a card of having confidence, right? You're like, I can do it. I can make the life I want, make the reality I want, bend it to my will, shape it to whatever form pleases me. It's nice. Looking for a future card. Which, I could totally see being in a Magician space after being in an 8 of Cups space. Like, you do that really hard thing of walking away from, stuff that's not for you anymore, which is very uncomfortable, but ultimately leads you to, like, this place of mastery. Oh, can I put that back? It really flew out too. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the way that came out, because it was like, that's the 5 of Swords, yo. I don't like this one. 5 of Swords is pretty brutal. You look at this person and he's got the 2 swords. It could be their 2 swords. Sometimes I think that these might be their 2 swords, but I don't know. And he's totally defeated these people, and they're walking away in grief and sorrow. And he is just delighted. He just loves that. I'm thinking though, sometimes 5 of Swords can be about being bullied, right? Somebody's bullying you, somebody is abusing you. Sometimes though, it's about standing up for yourself. Like, what if these people were the bullies? These people were the ones that were taking advantage of you, abusing you, gaslighting you, harming you, and you finally stood up to them. Then you can feel a little Five of Swordsy about it. You're like, ha, finally did it. Showed you I rule. So sometimes that card can be good. Sometimes it can be bad though. Like, it's really not a very nice card. It's not like a warm and fuzzy thing. But fives a lot of times are about conflict, loss, change, and if you've kind of walked away from old ways of doing things, old ways of relating, old coping mechanisms, old relationships, things that were very comfortable for you, but maybe too comfortable, keeping you stuck, keeping you from growth, whatever. I'm back. You walk away from those things. My cards went everywhere. You walk away from those things, right? And then you kind of come to this position of being very confident, being, the creator of your own life, your own reality, the way that you want things to be. And then you might have to stick up for that position. You might have to defend it. You might have to defend yourself. You might have to stand against people who don't understand the steps that you've taken, the journey that you've been on. I'm going to get overall energy. What is this? What is this? Is it love, relationships, money, jobs, family? What is it? What is it? Overall energy card. See, but I think the Five of Swords just kind of tells a story about that. Like, when you're called to defend yourself, stand up for yourself, assert yourself, it can very easily become something very ugly, like really quick, especially if you have put up with it for like a long time and you reach your breaking point. You know what I mean? It can very quickly become less about standing up for yourself and defending yourself and more about just harming the other person. Aries. Do we know a little bit about that? About that well-timed barb, that zinger that just gets somebody right? Got him. I did it. And then shit. You have to like live with the consequences of that afterwards. You're like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I went too far. That was uncalled for. In the moment, it feels real good though, doesn't it? You feel kind of like this person. So satisfying. Gotta watch out for that, Aries. We got that temper. We got that mouth. Yeah. All right, overall energy card. My cards are they're just like all over the place today. They want to fall out of my hands. They're jumping on the floor. They don't want to shuffle. Very impatient. This is major Aries energy. Okay. Overall energy card, please, for this. Mercury went direct yesterday. So retrograde is officially over. We are in the post-shadow period now, which lasts about 2 weeks. It's like Mercury, he went backwards. So now he has to go forwards again and cover the ground that he's already covered before. So we're not out of it until he does that. So we have about 2 more weeks. But that's interesting. I like went off on a tangent. It's interesting to get the Magician, which is a Mercury card for the present, the day after Mercury station direct. That's pretty cool. Okay. Overall energy. That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. It's interesting that you got Five of Swords because in my last reading for Pisces, they got Five of Wands for their future card. It's conflict. So you could have Pisces placements. You could know a Pisces. You guys might be fighting. You might be fighting with yourself. All right, overall energy. Ace of Cups. Aces are all potential. So it's like an opportunity that's being presented to you and you get to decide if you're going to take it or you're not going to. But Cups is love, feelings, romance, emotions. Ace of Cups that's juicy good stuff. You got like this, is that a dove? I always think it's like a dove, which is like peace and it's an offering. It's the universe saying like, this is for you. Here you go. Enjoy it. New love, new relationship. Which, if you in the past have been dealing with your abandonment issues, sometimes that is that for me for this card. If you've been walking away from, really old familiar ways of doing things, ways that you should be in society that just don't fit you, ways that people expect you to behave that just aren't right for you, jobs, relationships. I mean, it's a relationship thing. Let's just put it out there. It is. Ways of like being in relationship, connecting with people that just don't fit for you anymore, and you're on this journey of like finding something new, and you're really deciding like, I can do it however I want to do it. I can build whatever life, whatever structure I want. It's like, I always use this word, even though I hate it. It's like manifesting, right? But it's really about like perception. It's about thought forms, it's about, I can make it whatever I want, because whatever I see is what it's going to be. And I was going somewhere with that too. But like, you do that, you walk away from these old things. You're in a really confident and competent space. And it's like, whoop, here you go. Like, you left all this old stuff. You're having all of this faith in yourself. You're in charge. And here you go. Love and happiness and healing and an overflowing of goodness, right? But that can be turbulent too. And sometimes there's going to be moments of having to stand your ground, speak your piece, defend your position. Like, this is the way that I see it. This is the way that I feel about it. This is what makes sense for me. This is ooh. Okay. I'm going to clarify that Five of Swords, and I think I'm going to get some advice. How's that sound? Is that good? What is this Five of Swords about? Who are we? I want to know, Aries, is somebody bullying you? Is somebody cutting you down? Is somebody making you feel small? Is somebody hurting you with glee? Purposefully? Because Five of Swords, that's purposeful. This is not an accident. Is this being done to you, or is this something that you're doing? Are you standing up for yourself? Are you fighting for what you want, what you believe? Are you... yeah, that's what I want to know. Clarify that for me. Let's see. It's Five of Swords. Because if you look at the Five of Swords, like, the sky looks very turbulent with all of the clouds like racing by, but the water, water is always a nod to our feelings, our subconscious, it's very still. This is somebody who's very calm in conflict, which Aries I feel like we can be. Conflict, I mean, Aries is ruled by Mars, right? Who's the god of war. So conflict can be very familiar and comfortable to us. We can be really good at it. Too good, maybe. But that's why I say Five of Swords is purposeful. If somebody is doing this to you, it's on purpose. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I just got heated and I made a mistake and I said something I didn't mean, or I got the Six of Swords to clarify it. Okay, but the thing that I got is like, this is something that might be being done to you because somebody's afraid you're going to leave them. Right? Like, if they can keep you small, if they can keep you stuck, if they can get you to fight with them to prove that you care, or then you won't leave, you'll stay. Because Six of Swords is about moving on. It's about leaving. And like, the waters are rough really rough here. And then the water that they're moving towards is very still. It's calmer. It's better. It's more peaceful. It's, that feels yucky. I don't like it. But I think that can happen, and we can all fall into this trap. Everybody has red flag behaviors. Everybody has toxic behaviors. Everybody has stuff to work on. I don't care who you are, myself included. But if there's somebody in your life, maybe even a new person, and you've been changing a lot, you've been, like, I know I've said this several times now, but you've been walking away from stuff. You've been leaving things behind. You're more confident than ever. You're doing new things. You're creating new things. You're like creating the life that you want. They might be afraid you're going to leave them behind because you're changing so much. So they might create conflict and tension and try to do things to make you feel bad because they're afraid that they're one of the things that you're going to leave behind. Yeah. Which is, understandable. That's a perspective that we can understand. It doesn't make it okay. Protect yourself as necessary. Stand up for yourself. Communicate compassionately. Let's get advice. Let's get advice for that. And you know what usually happens in my experience? And I can speak as somebody that's been on both sides of that. I've done it to somebody and I've had somebody do it to me. When you treat people that way, in that Five of Swords way, because you're insecure and you're afraid they're going to leave, what happens? They end up leaving. You push them away, right? It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Advice. Aries, this reading is like, I need to just stop pulling cards for you. Advice is the Tower. The Tower is advice. The Tower is advice. Look at the Tower. The Tower is a massive shift. It's, the lightning strikes the tower. The people have to jump from it to save themselves. Everything is crumbling. It is like, it's that revelatory moment you have where like nothing is ever the same. You can never see it the same ever again. It can be very scary and painful. Sometimes it can be like really great. You're like, whoa, I never looked at it this way before. This is really cool. So that can still be scary because it's like this whole like shift in everything. Usually when I get the Tower as advice, it's like an omen of like, I usually talk about stability, about building something that's stable. Aries, we like to rush, especially in new things, new exciting things. We like to rush. We get this cup offered to us and we want to just like grab it and chug the whole thing, like spike it and then be like, what's next? You know what I mean? That leads to Tower moments when we rush, when we force things, when we try to like strong arm something. And then it has to crumble. It has to fall away because it's not sustainable. It was never built to last. Slow down. Take your time. Make sure that anything that you're building, especially romantic relationships, is built on a solid foundation. Make sure that, because when I think of the Tower, I think of like things that are false, like worldviews that we have, or limiting beliefs and thoughts and things that like need to be totally leveled so that we can grow and change and become a better version of ourselves. So make sure you're being honest with yourself and your people. Make sure that you're remaining flexible. Because I think flexible and I think of the Tower, like think about those really tall skyscrapers and you go up really high and you can kind of feel them in the wind. They're made to move. Because if they didn't, what would happen? They would just, right? being a little bendy, being a little flexible is okay, which I know can be hard for us Aries. We can be kind of prideful and stubborn. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit. It's okay to bend a little bit. Yeah. And don't be so scared of having a tower moment that you don't try to build a tower at all. Right? Totally. That's what I got for you, Aries. This feels like kind of intense. But we like a little bit of intensity, don't we? We're usually pretty comfortable with that, I think. This was actually a really fun reading, Aries. I hope that everything goes well for you. Remember my advice. And I'll see you in a month. Bye.